Welcome to my cafe, my PetInfoCafe. Pour yourself a warm cup of your favorite and let's chat about our love of animals. I am your host, Jennifer Eileen, and I am so delighted to present our topic today, Peace in Passing. Please welcome my guest, Mary Beth Decker, founder of Sacred Grove, animal communicator for positive changes, medical intuitive, and healer. And also, please welcome our very important pet guest, Sugar, my very own little baby girl. So welcome her too. I think she's going to take a nap while we talk. Mary Beth, so much to talk about. Thank you for being here.
It's pretty exciting to be doing this. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's so exciting to talk to you. So just to kind of thread the circle, Mary and Beth and I have known each other for what, 20
I think
years?
So.
We took some classes together.
Yeah.
You taught some classes I took.
Did.
And then in one of my previous episodes, I interviewed Margaret, who'd been one of your students. So
yeah, she's a favorite.
Yeah, yeah, she had done some animal communication. So I'd like to hear how you got started in this.
You had referenced my time in the Navy, so I guess we'll start there because we'll try to figure out how that happened. Because how did I get there from here?
Yeah,
here from there. So I always like to say I didn't come out of the room talking to animals, and I want to say that as a positive thing because it's something that we can all learn. I was in the Navy and retired lieutenant commander, and the biggest takeaways that helped me get where I'm going were that there was a kind of a change in mindset for me from growing up with certain beliefs about how the world worked, and then you go to places outside of the continental United States, like I spent 3 years in Japan, and you also meet different people from all over the U.S. and that opened me up to the fact that the world is a much bigger place than I thought it was, and there's a lot more happening. That was kind of a good start for me. They also talked about teamwork. Now, I wasn't on a ship, but I had 2 husbands that are sailors. And they talked about, if something breaks, you don't call Costco and drive over if you're in the middle of the Atlantic. You got to fix it yourself. So teamwork and getting things fixed, getting things done with who you're with is really important. That came through to me, and it was one of the good things I've carried on, and a sense of humor. I cannot share any of the things that would be funny because they would not be G-rated anymore. So we won't say them. But getting a sense of humor tossed in with working with animals has really been good for me. So you take that all the way through, and I retired. I worked for an association, and somehow I had this intuitive hit to start doing massage and Reiki. And after that, energy healing opened me up to my dogs communicating with me. I was not expecting that. I was shocked. And after the first 2 were dogs who passed, who made themselves known to me. My one dog, Timmy, actually looked like he was just sitting in the dining room staring at me. Full body guy, apparition as they say. And then moving on to the 2 that really talked to me and showed me visions. I said, look, I got to figure out what's going on. What is happening? And my friend Mary said, well, that's called animal communication. And I said, that's a thing? And then I got some training in it, and I loved working with animals and their people. I mean, just look at you 2 together.
Aww.
There's that family love.
Yeah.
It drew me in because that's what I found that I just loved. And I loved helping them become more attuned to each other and having more joy with each other as they figured each other out through a little bit of communication. So I'll stop there.
Oh, well, Margaret had so much to share. I mean, she had a pretty dramatic story about how through your training, she had the ability, recognized her ability to receive visions. So she actually saw in her communication with her friend's dog a very strange mask, a Halloween mask. And it was the real thing. I mean, it was something that Jen had shown her dog just out of a joke, but picked up on. So this is a very real thing. And how was it for you? Just for our viewers to understand, how do you know it's not just a random thought or something you just heard on the radio or a real encounter?
First off, it's the one thing with Timmy sitting there and actually seeing him as if he was in the physical. I couldn't make that up, okay? I'm not crazy, I'm sorry. Not. And then the time where the way I said it was my dog Mitsubishi was a husky. He got mad at me and he swore at me. And I'm like, are you going back to my Navy time? Did you pick that up? And I said to myself at the time, I swear if dogs could talk, you would have just told me to cut that crap out. Stop what you're doing. And he jumped off the couch after that. I said, how could I make that up? That came so clear. I don't know. And then Tibor, he had a tough life, and he started showing me pictures of what was going on before he came into my life. And he was through my visuals from him, I learned that he was probably a bait dog in a dog fighting place. Because he had a lot of scars for being only a year and a half old when we got him. So that told me that what was happening was real. What was happening was real. Then I worked with other people and he had some other interesting outcomes where, I mean, it's just like, okay, what I'm doing is real. This is a real thing, hearing from them.
So you do Reiki, you work with animals. I know you work with a vet in the area.
Yeah, I work with Dr. Kosin. He lets me have office hours there, and so if people want to see me in person, they can. They don't have to, but that's an option. And it fits into the alternative modalities to help our animals.
And Dr. Kosin's a holistic vet.
Yeah, he's a holistic vet, right.
Yeah, I've seen him for years. But as well then, let's talk about peace in passing.
Okay.
And when I first set the show up with you, I said, oh, well, let me see if I can find a senior pet, because once you have a senior pet, you really have to start thinking about those decisions. And then this morning, this little one was not feeling well. And so I said, I better take her to South Paws, which is like 2 blocks from the station. So she is our cameo pet.
I'm so glad she's here.
Yeah, I'm so glad she's here too, and she's had a very interesting life. But we all have, when we have pets, we have to face that separation time. And I'd like to hear more from you about peace in passing, what that's all about.
Okay. What I'd like to start with is some of the things that are in the book. And the idea is to help us get some other ideas about how to deal with the incredible grief that we go through when we lose our pets. Because I like to say that I work with people, and I think I wrote this book for people who love their animals as much as or more than the people in their lives. and there's just something true about that. So one of the things that we're encountering less, but I wanted to say as a complete myth, is that it's not a big deal to lose a pet. Just because they're not human doesn't mean that they haven't been part of our souls, our lives, our families. It's a huge deal. The grief is real, it's deep. A lot of times it's because they've spent more time loving us unconditionally than those humans that we have chosen to hang out with. And I'm not saying anything bad about us humans, but these guys have a lot more love to give in an easy way, I believe. And so it is a myth. I've heard this less, but people say, just get another animal. Get another dog, get another cat. What's the deal? Heavy sigh.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that one.
And it's like, this is a unique being that we've had the pleasure and honor of spending time with. We've helped them, they've helped us. It's both ways. And so, you know, I say grieve and honor your grief, because that means that you loved them. You don't grieve for those you don't care about.
Right.
So that's one. So I got to look at my notes, make sure I stay on track. The other thing that I learned from my dog Timmy is death is not the end of the relationship. My experience over and over again with connecting with animals who've passed is that they're still around, they're still there, they're still personalities. They may be doing different things than they did when they were with us, but they are still available. And death is not the end. Timmy pointed that out to me, and my dog Eddie pointed that out to me. And then so many other animals have done that for their people. There's even this thing, I guess it's a new age thing, that says, oh, well, their energy just comes out of their body and goes back to Creator, and so that personality is gone. I said, no, I've talked to too many personalities. Some of them pretty feisty. They're still around. Love is eternal, and it's not just in our hearts. There's a real connection between them and us. It just doesn't stop because the body died.
So is there more in your book about how humans, as you know, as attached as we are, go through that process with our pets of separating, of releasing them?
Yeah.
Because we often have to make the decision.
Yeah.
You know, because euthanasia is an option in this culture.
It is, and it's a tough decision either way. I actually wrote a blog yesterday about that. But first, that I want to say something that helped me through the time period when you start to see them decline. Like, you know, intellectually everybody passes, but now you see it in them, and you go like, oh, there is an end point to this life.
Yeah.
One of the things that I heard from a horse, Joe, to his person Sarah, it was, I'm not dead yet. and I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got grief. We're going forward. But don't forget to be there with them right now, however they want it. Do they want more snuggly time? Whatever it is, you know, remember, I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. Come on, stay with me, be with me, be my person. So that one. The other thing is that's really important, because if you make a decision, you got to make a decision usually in this culture of whether you're going to let them go naturally or you're going to euthanize them. I don't have a point of view about either one. But sometimes they will let you know if they've like had it, and it'll become very clear. And then euthanasia is a good choice. Others are like, no, I'll stick around for you. And human beings want to get things right. There's a lot of regret about having whatever decisions you made, for the treatments, not the treatments, which treatments, who you see, how long you let them, you know, all those. The thing I've learned from our animals is if you made any of those decisions in love, they're not holding grudges on the other side. I have not met one yet who's like, oh, you should have done this. No, they're just like, they bring our love with them. They bring it through to the other side, and that's what they keep with them, is the love that still exists between us. And I'm saying that because even though we have regrets, if we can get that thing in our heart that, you know, they still love us, I say that it's okay to use that as a soother to just let go of the grief, not the grief, but the pain of the regrets and the wondering if I did it too soon, did I do it too late? All those things we think about.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, what else can you tell us about peace in passing?
The other thing I'd like to talk about is one of the things that I found that we could do as human beings, even after they've passed, is to have conversations with your animals as if they're right there with you. And it's kind of reminiscing with an old friend. So with my guys, I would say to my dog Tibor and Stella, who passed in 2022, hey, remember all those great trips that we took through Fort Hunt Park when we went to deer trails, and Tibor, you'd run up to the top of the hill, and Stella and I would come running next to you, and we'd follow it through. And it would help me feel the joy of being together and to remembering why we love them. Yeah. And I know it's why we miss them, but it also reminds you of that times together. Tell stories about it. Tell them how much you enjoyed them, what it was that they brought to you, because they were part of your life. Even ask them, because they're part, I didn't say this before, but I believe they're part of our soul family, and people usually think soul families are humans that get together and decide they'll come to Earth together. I think our animals are too. So maybe ask them, what brought you back to be this cat with me now? What are you getting out of it? What did you get out of it if they've passed? And what did I get out of it? What did you give me? Let me stop there to see if you have any questions or thoughts about that.
Well, I think people always ask. I think one of the hard things is the decision.
Yeah.
And then the next point is just dealing with the aftermath. Dealing with the loss and the grief and the guilt.
The guilt.
You're giving very good advice, but should I have done this? Should I have done that? Why did he get cancer? Did I give him the wrong food? And then in just finding peace with having them being not part of your life anymore.
One of the things that also helped me, and it's one of my beliefs, it may not fit for everybody, is they had their own path. And they made some decisions or agreed to some decisions that probably we weren't thrilled with, especially with the ones who got cancer. Yeah. 2 out of 3 of my animals died of cancer in 2022.
Yes.
The other one died of old age, but
yeah.
You can say, well, just like us, where we choose our path and we have free will, you can think of the fact that maybe that was something that came through and it was a choice for them, and that they're okay with it, and say good things to help them recover in the afterlife and be in a good place if you're worried about them. But to separate out your desire for how they should turn out and their desire for how they should turn out might help a little bit, just to allow a little space there for it to be their path.
Yes.
Not just doing what we want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm laughing because, of course, I don't think I've met any animal that always does what we want them to do in my family life.
Yeah. Well, and what about, in just actually in the departing phase? I mean, because when you decide on euthanasia, you're part of it.
You're a part of it. If you can, I think euthanasia at home is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do it. It's just, I think it's easier on everybody. I've done euthanasia at the vets, and the fact that you go in with them and you leave without them,
Yeah.
that's a real tough one. Especially walking through everybody else with their pets, waiting to see the vet. That was a tough one. Being at home, having the other dogs and cats, if you have other ones, ask them to come and be with you. You can even do a bit of a life celebration before they pass. I know with Mitsubishi, we had the vet coming over to the house at sometime in the late afternoon. So friends from the neighborhood came over. They brought their dogs to say goodbye. Our dogs said goodbye. Kids from the neighborhood came by to say goodbye. We fed him chocolate because it didn't matter anymore.
Oh.
Because he's going. He's going to be gone in an hour or two, and he
Wow.
likes the taste of chocolate.
Wow.
And we talked story. We talked about him and what a great guy he is and was, and we celebrated his life while he was still there, and it was really nice. So if there's anything you can do, sometimes people have gotten clearly information from their animal about what they would like or not like. My friend, her dog said, it's a she dog, wanted to be outside with all the kids around. And that was a big deal because some of the kids were in college, so they got them all together before. Another one told me he was ready, my girlfriend's cat, that he was ready, but he didn't want to die alone. She and he were the only ones in the household at the time, and she went to work every day. So she made sure that it happened on a time where she could be with him.
Right. Well, thank you for that, Mary Beth. And we actually surprisingly are at time. Oh. Doesn't that go fast?
No
You
kidding.
have so much to say. So we will close on that thought.
Okay.
I will be sharing a link to your website,
Thank you.
to your online class, this beautiful book with this beautiful illustration. And thank you so much for sharing such an important issue.
Oh, this was
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you for letting me do this.
In the words of Conrad Lorenz, the bond with a true pet is as lasting as the ties of this earth can ever be. Thanks to Mary Beth, and thank you for visiting my Pet Info Cafe, where the refills are bottomless and the love of pets is limitless. The cafe is closing now, so fill up, and I'll see you next time. In the meantime, you may visit Pet Info Cafe for more great information about pets. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. This is a follow-up to our interview because I want to do a memorial to Sugar. By coincidence, perhaps by synchronicity, I hadn't intended for her to be part of the interview with Mary Beth, but my vet, Southpaws, is right around the corner, and we had just been there for an emergency room visit. The additional synchronicity is that after we talked so much about the passing and peace and passing, when I got home that evening, only a couple hours later, I got the call from the vet. The results of the blood tests were terminal. She was in end-stage kidney failure. And as I got that phone call, I looked out into my living room and I saw this light coming in through the window. and it was like coming through the leaves, but it had this sparkly quality. And I felt that at that moment of getting the worst news possible, I was also getting a message from the angels. So I gave her as much comfort as possible. I found a vet to come and do a home euthanasia so she was able to pass in her bed and next to her window. And so all of those choices we talked about became immediate choices. And of course, the grief that follows. But Mary Beth, could you say more about your perspective since you were with us?
Yeah, I'm still reeling from that. I think I believe sugar. Uh, this was sort of a plus to everything we've been talking about. Not a plus for you, Jennifer, but it was just a beautiful timing. And sugar, thank you for that. Because you called me and said, here's the news. And I went in and checked with her and asked her how her body was doing. And she affirmed, she let me feel how the body, her body was closing down. And for me, it felt, an analogy is like somebody's going in and turning off all the lights and turning the electricity. And it was like that. And so I said, yeah, feels like she's ready. But she was hoping to have a little more time with you. And I told you that. Uh, and with when you let me know that she was going to go and the vet was going to euthanize her, I let her know that she could just step out of her body and and even after we talked then and we talked again, I felt so much relief and joy from her, and I saw her giving you a nose bump of gratitude for the decision. And I think one of the gifts of that is that you we have received our animal's medical power of attorney. We can make the decision about whether to keep them and do more work on them with the vet or not. And she was not up to that. She made that clear. And in that point, what they're looking for is love and comfort. And you gave her all that. So with that heart to heart connection and the making a decision out of love, she didn't take anything with her about going to vets. And what I'm saying there is there's a lovingness of just listening to them and keeping them comfortable. And then when you feel the time is right, you either let them go by themselves or you do the home euthanasia. I love the home euthanasia.
Well, thank you, Mary Beth. I think that's a helpful closing for our audience. And just, the gift of your interview was that I lived it immediately. So thank you. Funding for this Pet Info Cafe episode was made possible in part by the generous support of InMemoriam Pet Services, located in Chantilly, Virginia. They understand the importance of honoring your furry friend's memory. For cremations and private memorial ceremonies, their compassionate team is here to support you. They also provide memorial products and keepsakes to cherish your furry friend's memory.